यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचारी यमुनातीरवनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
So last morning, we didn't have a speaker. So Naimshana Prabhu said, you go ahead and speak. But that time, I wasn't prepared. Now the classes are not as regularly for me, so it does not click easily for me. So I said no. But then when I went home, I was preparing, I was trying to get something for Govardhan, because we all are supposed to cook something or get something for Govardhan. And I was getting these fruits ready for, dry fruits, and I fried few things and so things. As I was putting those in the box, I was thinking, okay, this much is for my family, and this I will take for Govardhan. And as soon as I thought of it, I thought of this episode of Madhavendra Puri, which is on Govardhan, and how that we will read as much we can. And today will be only day, because then we will continue with Madhya 8. This is Madhya 4 chapter called Sri Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. And we will start from text 55, I believe. So as soon as I was keeping some for me and some for the temple, I was thinking the villagers in this episode, they didn't keep anything. And they were not all well-to-do. They had barely things. But whatever they had, they got everything for the Gopal deity. They did not keep some for their family and got some. They got everything without thinking. They didn't have a supermarket. They didn't have a, cash flowing like how we do. But still they did not think. So it's more than the Lakshmi or the resources, the heart that we give from. And then I thought, this is what I should be reading tomorrow. So that's when, so it took form. So that's the reason of we are reading this. I'll chant my prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. Praying at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, our dear Most Srila Prabhupada and all the Guru Vargas, may I speak few words in the glorification of our dear Lord Shri Krishna, who is here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For the pleasure of the Vaishnavas and for my very own purification, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuve Vacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama. Mukum Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Kathanchana smite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhaved vismite viparitam syat Shri Chaitanya namamitam. The crux of this verse is that anything that's very difficult becomes easy by remembering Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and anything that's very easy becomes difficult if we don't remember him. To that Mahaprabhu I pay all my obeisances. There's one more verse, I don't know, it was written in the other book. If I try to, and I'll tell you I don't remember the verse number from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I think this is Madhya 2, chapter 2 anyway. जेवा नाही बुझे से हो सुनीते से हो जेवा नहीं बुझे के हो सुनीते से हो कि अद्भुत चैतन्य चरिता कृष्णे उपाजीवे प्रीति जानिबे रसेर रीति सुनिलेई हय बड़ हिता. This is that, if you don't know Bengali, if you don't understand Bengali, don't reject Chaitanya Charitamrita. The author of this book says, even if you don't understand, keep listening and keep listening and keep listening. And what will happen? And then he says, this is how wonderful Chaitanya Charitamrita is. Krishna upajive priti. You will have love for Krishna. Janive rasheru riti rasa. You will understand the mellows of Krishna prema. Shunilei hoy bodo hito. If you hear just by hearing, even if you don't understand, just by hearing, you will have hita, you will get benefit, spiritual benefit. So to that Chaitanya Charitamrita and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and our dear Srila Prabhupada, who translated everything in English, even before Srimad Bhagavatam, he completed translation of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Pay my all obeisances. Please bless me. Pray for me that I speak something worthwhile. So this is, because we are not reading the entire chapter, I don't know how much we can get into, but this is basically a simple chapter, but I told you the story behind why we are reading this. What was my intention, that we want to pray that may our hearts become like those villagers who were ready to give their everything, whatever they had, without keeping anything for themselves. Whether Krishna protects, whether Krishna gives, whether Krishna keeps for me or not, but you have it all for, Krishna. So with that mood, we will read. It's a simple chapter. Bengali I will read. If you want to, do you want to repeat? Maybe the first verse. And I got picture this summer when we went to India. I have one picture, one video. I did not send you the video. It's two pictures from where Madhavendra Puri. I'll give you a little story behind Madhavendra Puri, one of our Acharya in the Sampradaya. This is Mahaprabhu's Guru, Ishwar Puri, and his Guru was Madhavendra Puri. And he gave us wonderful verse that came out of Radharani's heart. It's called Ei Deenadaya Adranatha Hai Mathuranatha Kadavalokas. This wonderful verse. This is from Madhavendra Puri. And he was in Vrindavan. And then once he was sleeping, in his, or resting, or meditating, he had this dream, where this little boy comes and tells. Actually, before that, he was sitting there under a tree, and where this boy comes with the milk and says, have it. And then he asked, who are you? He said, I'm just a village boy and a cowherd boy, and I live here, and in Vrindavan, we cannot let anybody go hungry. So you have this milk, I'll come back to take the pot. And then he was waiting with as soon as he drank, of course, he realized, it's Krishna. And he was waiting, and he dozed off. And in his dream, he said, the boy came again and said, I'm Krishna, and I'm there in this particular, and in Govardhan, find me out and then establish me. It was, Madhavendra Puri got 3 dreams total. This was the first dream. So when we went, this is, if you know Govind Kund is where after Govardhan Leela happened, then what happened, Indra came with Surabhi cow. And where his Abhishek was done, Krishna's Abhishek was done, that's the place where is Govind Kund. And in that Govind Kund, near that Govind Kund is this place where Madhavendra Puri dozed off and saw the first dream. I got the picture from there. We will see it in a while. And so Madhavendra Puri, he started, so he went and he started digging the place, and then got all the Brajavasis, everybody helped. They're, in Vrindavan, they're always ready to do devotional service. They don't say, oh, I have to go for a movie. I'll come back later and I have to go shopping or this. They're always ready to serve Gopal, especially Sri Radha and his Krishna. And even this day when you go, you will see this mood. You'll still see this mood. And it feels, Vrindavan, when you speak to the Brajavasis, it feels like, as I'm saying, I'm realizing it, that they're always in a meditative mood. They're always meditating. And so they came and they helped. And they had this Gopal deity. And now we will read about how he was being installed. So this is text 55. Do you want to read? Do you want to recite also? You want to? Okay. This is text 55, chapter. This is Madhya 4. Sri Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. This is a very, very ecstatic chapter, very important for us because he is our Acharya. So please go home and read this chapter in entirety. We did it entirely in this temple. But yeah, please read it. Gramero Brahmano Shabo Nobo Ghato Loya গোবিন্দ কুণ্ডের জল আনিল ছানিয়া গ্রামের ব্রাহ্মণ সব নব ঘট লইয়া গোবিন্দ কুণ্ডের জল আনিল ছানিয়া গ্রামেরও ব্রাহ্মণ সব নব ঘট লইয়া গোবিন্দ কুণ্ডের জল আনিল ছানিয়া। গ্রামেরও ব্রাহ্মণ সব নব ঘট লইয়া গোবিন্দ কুণ্ডের জল আনিল ছানিয়া। গ্রামের ব্রাহ্মণ সব নব ঘট লইয়া গোবিন্দ কুণ্ডের জল আনিল ছানিয়া। গ্রামের ব্রাহ্মণ সব নব ঘট লইয়া গোবিন্দ কুণ্ডের জল আনিল ছানিয়া। Shall we continue? গ্রামের ব্রাহ্মণ সব নব ঘট লইয়া গোবিন্দ কুণ্ডের জল আনিল ছানিয়া। If you hear Srila Prabhupada, you will see, I mean, later they edited, but Prabhupada will encourage everybody to chant the verse, even though after that he will get very less time to talk. And that's the humility of the speaker, that everybody chant and learn the, because of course he was preaching everybody, not only Indians. So they need to, Prabhupada was making, even in the classes he was training the audience how to chant. So he will go and let ladies, and then he will go on and on and on. And the chanting will be so, now they edit it, but he will have very less time. But I'm not like that, so please forgive me. But if you wish to chant, please do. I will follow Prabhupada. Continue. So this a very nice word to me was chania, in that if you see the last word is chania. Chania means, if you ever had tea or anything straining, yeah, channa, in Hindi, chai channa. So chania, see, they didn't just get the water directly. That's the level of service. They didn't get just the water, okay, Govinda Kund water, pour it on top of the deity. They strained it. And sometimes while cooking and all, we just say, okay, tap water because I'm getting late, and this is the mood of service. And if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, for me it's a very applicable scripture. It's a scripture that you apply in your life to whatever extent we can. But it is not like you read, it is not just the transformation of the heart, like you read and you realize and think. It is also how you apply it. It will transform you only to the extent you apply also. At least you remember. Like this chapter, because temple, you sit and you speak and then you discuss. So of course it remained in my mind. And yesterday, after almost like 2-3 months or maybe more, when I was doing that service at home, it reminded me how selfish I was feeling of myself and versus the villagers. So the scripture comes back to you. If you really take it to your heart, it comes back to you and remind you, hey, you know what? You think you are a devotee? This is how a devotee should be. They don't keep anything for them. They give everything to Krishna. This is how scripture teaches you. Krishna teaches you as a scripture from your heart. I was not thinking, like Prabhu said, speak something on Govardhan, and I was thinking, where is there Chaitanya Charitamrita Govardhan? I was not able to relate or anything. But then Krishna comes and, guides you within and externally. So what is the translation by Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada ki. All the Brahmana priests of the village gathered together with 9 water pots, and water from Govinda Kund lake was brought there and filtered. We'll continue, I'll just go on reading now. নবশত ঘট জল কইল উপনীত, নানাবাদ্য ভেরি বাজে শ্রী ঘট গয় গীত। Translation. When the deity was being installed, 900 pots of water were brought from Govinda Kund. There were musical sounds of bugles and drums and singing of women. কেহ গায়ে কেহ নাচে মোহ উৎসব হইল, দধি দুগ্ধ ঘৃত আইল গ্রামের যত ছিল. Now from here, okay? Translation. During the festival at the installation ceremony, some people sang and some danced. All the milk, yogurt and clarified butter in the village was brought to the festival. All, not some at home. ভোগা সামগ্রী আইলো সন্দেশাদি যত, নানা উপহার তাহা কহিতে পারি কত. You know, bhog, samagri, all this, but Sandesh is something morning Kalachanji has. We make out of coconut. It's a different, and if you go to Bengal, you will see we have different shapes. When we were young, this is the most difficult. It's not like you make a thick Sandesh. It's like the expert, if you're a real expert, like, you know, grandmoms and all, they'll make such a thin, you will have a mold like a fish or a flower, all the sort of thing. It's made out of stone. Now you might get it of wooden or plastic, I don't know. But when we were, you know, growing up, it will be stone, black stone, and the thinner the layer of the you know, the bhog, the more expert you are considered to be, because then it's become very difficult to unmold it, demold it. So you take it out and then, you know, you dry it, and then that's the shondesh, it's called. You can make it with coconut, and you can make coconut and gur or coconut and sugar, or you can make it with milk. So it's a varieties of shondesh that you can make. It's a dry sweet. Various foods and sweetmeats as well as other kinds of presentations were brought there. I am unable to describe all this, he said. Taha kohite na pari, how much can I say, because there were so much, how much can I say, is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying. তুলসী আদি পুষ্প বস্ত্র আইলো অনেক, আপনে মাধবে পুরী কইল Abhisheka. Translation. The villagers brought a large quantity of tulsi leaves, flowers, and various kinds of garments. Then Sri Madhavendra Puri personally began the Abhishek, bathing ceremony. So Madhavendra Puri personally he did it. Purport. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, 6th Vilas, verse 30, it is stated that the deity should be bathed in water mixed with yogurt and milk, accompanied by the sound of conch shells, bell, and other instruments, and the chanting of the mantra Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and as well as the chanting of Brahma Samhita verse beginning Chintamani Prakara Sadma Shukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhir Adhipalya Yantam. So this is the verses that, you know, when we do Abhishek, even at home, if you don't know the Brahma Samhita completely like me, just put it on the speaker and let it go on and do the Abhishek. It pleases Krishna a lot. Brahma Samhita and Om Namo, what did he say? Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namo. And so that's what Prabhupada is mentioning, and how Abhishek should be done. He gives more details in the further purports. Text 60. অমঙ্গল দূর করি করাইল স্নান, বহু তৈল দিয়া কইল শ্রীঅঙ্গ চিকান. After all inauspicious things were driven away by the chanting of the mantra, the deity's bathing ceremony started. First, the deity was massaged with large quantity of oil so that his body becomes very glossy, chikan, like chikna, we say. Na? The one more thing is, it was under the, you know, bushes and the stones and things like that, so his body's become very, very rough. This time when Mahari Prabhu, right, when he was painting Kalachanji, and he was saying, I have to be very careful that, you know, I cannot put too rough of a chemical, otherwise he's become so harsh. You have to go on putting oil and oil and all, because it's called acetone. It's more stronger than your nail polish remover, and acetone can, you know, make it very rough. If you put it too much, he has to remove the paint with acetone, but he cannot put it like this, you know. Then what will happen? The other part of the stone, which doesn't need the removal of the painting, will become very rough, coarse, abrasive, and then it's a hard task to make it smooth again. So he was speaking about it. So as I'm chanting, I'm remembering that. So he was putting so much of oil, because, you know, the deity was not taken care for so long, and it's become very, very tough texture. So need lots of oil to make it smooth again. 61. পঞ্চগাভ পঞ্চমৃত স্নান করাইয়া মহাস্নান করাইল শত ঘটক দিয়া. Translation. After the first bathing, further bathing were conducted with the Panchagavya and then with Panchamrit. Then the Mahasnan was performed with ghee and water, which had been brought in 100 pots per pot. The ingredients of Panchagavya are milk, yogurt, ghee, clarified butter, cow urine, and cow dung. All these items come from the cow. Therefore, we can just imagine how important the cow is, since its urine and stool are required for bathing the deity. The Panchamrit consists of 5 kinds of nectar: yogurt, milk, ghee, honey, and sugar. The major portion of this preparation also comes from the cow. To make it more palatable, sugar and honey are added. So we hear the importance of cow, how important cow is for us. And that's what Prabhupada is insisting here, that the Panchagavya and Panchamrit both has ingredients from the cow. And that's how cow is so worshipable to us, because Krishna loves cow. পুন তৈল দিয়া কইল শ্রীঅঙ্গ চিকন শঙ্খ গন্ধ ঢাকে কইল স্নান সমাধান. ঢাকে, actually, that is. After the Mahasnan was finished, the deity was again massaged with scented oil and his body made glossy. Then the last bathing ceremony was performed with scented water kept within a conch shell. In his commentary on this occasion, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes from the Hari Bhakti Vilas: barley powder, wheat powder, vermilion powder, urad dal powder, and another powder preparation called avata, made by mixing banana powder and ground rice, are applied to the deity's body with the brush made from the hair at the end of a cow's tail. This produces a nice finish. The oil smeared over the body of the deity should be scented. To perform the Mahasnan, at least 2.5 manas, about 24 gallons of water, are needed to pour over the body of the deity. As I read more and more Chaitanya Charitamrita, or I hear, one thing is very prominent, that when they're doing their service, the devotee who's doing their service, they're not exhausted or tired and thinking, okay, when will this service get over? When will I go home and rest? When will I be free from this and get to go to the, this thing or that thing or something? This is very, very prominent throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita. They don't want to get rid of the service. The more, the better. And then we will see this mood continuing even further. They didn't want to stop this celebration. Like, let it get over. Like, when will it be over? And I'm talking from my personal experience, because sometimes I get to cook for Kalachandji and I'm just looking at the watch and saying, okay, still 1 more hour, still 1 more hour. That's not the mood of the Brajavasis or Srimati Radharani or the gopis. For them, the more, the merrier, the more, the better. Because that's what they live for. And that's what Chaitanya Charitamrita is personified. Devotional service. This chapter itself is devotional service. Madhavendra Puri is devotional service. So we, talking for myself, may not have that, blissful mood where doing the service. It's, for me, I'm either blissful or I'm doing service. But we can pray to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. We can pray to Mahaprabhu, to Radharani, to our Guru Vargas, to give us this mood where we are blissful while serving. We are blissful while chanting. That's the greatest devotional service that we are doing for us and for everybody. So when we are doing devotional service, may I also become blissful. And, it's not the quality of the preparation that I'm, wow. I mean, of course, if you have devotion, you have the love, the preparation can't go wrong, because then you have the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, mercy of Radharani. So it's of course it's there. You want to check Radharani? So when we are doing service, one prayer we can always make. Any service, it can be playing the mridanga, or it can be any service which might seem like a small service, which might be a big service, but may I feel the bliss while doing the service. May I feel the, it might sound again, I'm talking from where I am. A pure devotee like Madhavendra Puri, they don't even think for themselves feeling blissful. We won't get to read the entire chapter. You will see in the future, Govinda, Gopalji will again come in his dream and say, you go to this Malaya hill and get me sandalwood. And then, you know, what's the wonderful thing? He doesn't send anybody else. He goes himself. Rather, you know, keeps two brahmanas to do the service of the deities, you know. And he goes himself. He doesn't think, and he didn't have train, he didn't have a plane, he didn't have anything which will cut short his travel. He walks to Malaya hill and tries to get the sandalwood, and karpur also he will get. So, of course, it was paining him, giving him trouble physically. But he was so joyous because Gopalji himself asked him to serve. And this Vigraha of Gopalji, you know, is in, it used to be at top of the Govardhan hill. And then Mahaprabhu asked us to not step over the Govardhan hill. But that time he was doing it. Of course, as I said, that he was guru of Mahaprabhu's guru. Eventually he was taken to Nathdwara. Srinathji is Gopalji actually. But the temple is still there, we don't go. But if you want to see the deity, you need to go to Rajasthan, Nathdwara, you can go and see Srinathji. So that's the Gopal deity that Madhavendra Puri reinstalled. And for him, he went to Malaya Hill. While going to Malaya Hill, he went through Khirchor Gopinath. And there is another episode there, but we basically wanted to wanted to focus on the Govardhan pastime. Continue reading. So next time we all serve, please let's pray for each other that may we have this joy also, feel the joy of service while we are serving, not when it's over. Talking for myself. 63. Shri Ango Marjan Kori Bastro Parailo Chandon Tulsi Pushpo Mala Onge Dilo. After the body of the deity was cleansed, he was dressed very nicely with new garments. Then sandalwood pulp, tulsi garlands, and other fragrant flower garlands were placed upon the body of the deity. Dhupa dipa kori nana bhoga lagailo dodi dugdo sandeshadi joto kichu ailo. This word is again repeated, sandeshadi. So sandesh is the sandesh that I was explaining. And adi is etc. So sandesh and other things. Translation. After the bathing ceremony was finished, incense and lamps were burnt and all kinds of food offered before the deity. These foods included yogurt, milk, and as many sweetmeats as were received. Shubhashito jalo nabo patre samorpilo achomono diyashe tambulo nivedilo. The deity was first offered many varieties of food, then scented drinking water in new pots, and then water for washing the mouth. Finally, pan mixed with the variety of spice was offered. Tambul is something very particular used in pan. Pan is a leaf. Tambul is the nut, betel nut and betel leaf. So the pan, it's a leaf, and inside you put the tambul. Tambul is more like a, if you have seen jaifal, it's more like that, you know, but it's a different flavor. We cannot use it for ourselves, but deities can be offered with it. Arotriko kori koilo bohuto stabano dandavat kori koilo atmo samarpano. After the last offering of tambula and pan, bhoga artika was performed. Finally, everyone offered various prayers and then obeisances, falling flat before the deity in full surrender. গ্রামের যতেক তন্দুল দালি গোধুম চূর্ণ সকল আনিয়া দিল পর্বত হইল পূর্ণ. Yesterday, how many of you saw the Govardhan hill in the sanctuary? As soon as the people of the village had understood that the deity was going to be installed, they had brought their entire stock of rice, dal, wheat, flour. I'll repeat that. As soon as the people of the village had understood that the deity was going to be installed, they had brought their entire stocks of rice, dal, and wheat flour. They brought such large quantities that the entire surface of the top of the hill was filled. As I said, they did not keep anything home, thinking for tomorrow. They got everything, the entire stock. কুম্ভকারো ঘরে ছিল যে মৃদজন মৃদ ভজন সব আনাইলো প্রাতে ছাড়িল রঞ্জন রান্ধন. When the villagers brought their stocks of rice, dal, and flour, the potters of the village brought all kinds of cooking pots, and in the morning the cooking began. So they got everything ready and they started cooking for the festival. Dasha Vipro Anna Randhi Kore Eka Stupo Jona Pache Radhe Vyanjana Dinana Shupo. 10 brahmanas cooked the food grains and 5 brahmanas cooked both dry and liquid vegetables. বন্য শাক ফল মূলে বিবিধ ব্যঞ্জন কেহ বড়া বড়ি করি করে বিপ্রগণ. The vegetable preparations were made from various kinds of spinach, roots and fruits collected from the forest, and someone had made bada and bari by mashing dal. In this way, the Brahmanas prepared all kinds of food. Vada, if you know, you soak the dal, you grind the dal, and what do you say? How it is traditionally, it should be you have a rooftop where you make little drop, what do you call it? Boria, what do you call the shape of it is what I was thinking. Like a drop, like a teardrop, like a bigger teardrop. And you just, like a modak, if you know what is modak, but anyway. So you just put it and you put it in under the sun and the sun dries it. And then when you have to cook, of course, if you go Punjab, they have their own kind of body. If you go to Bengal, they have their own. Every state have their own sort of spice. But it's basically with either urad dal, moong dal, chana dal. And then you dry it, and when you have to cook, you just, shallow fry it and then again put it on the vegetable that you make. So this is called badi. Next one, 71. জনা পাঁচ সাত রুটি করে রাশি রাশি অন্ন ব্যঞ্জন সব রহে ঘৃতে ভাসি. 5 to 7 men had prepared a huge quantity of chapatis, which were sufficiently covered with ghee, clarified butter, as were all the vegetables and rice and dal. We see one thing. I mean, that's not necessary to mention, but I would still say, if you hear only the brahmanas are cooking and only the men are cooking. Mataji is not mentioned here, but we can fold our palm and be grateful to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada gave us this opportunity to cook for. So when they speak about, women equality, Prabhupada really gave us the equality. When it comes to Krishna, he sees the soul and not the body. And Prabhupada made it possible. At least in the Western world, we are so fortunate to get on the altar, to cook for Krishna, do his dressing. And we are really, really, I'm personally so grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving us this opportunity, even in this body, which Vedas sometimes might reduce. And of course, there are exceptions, but, Prabhupada made it for all. And he didn't give he didn't make us an exception. So they were doing, and how are the rotis? Rotis were the rashi, line after line and one on top of it, and they were floating in ghee. And what else were floating in ghee? The rice and the dal also were floating, and the vegetables were floating in ghee. নববস্ত্র পাতি তাহে পলাশেরো পাত রান্ধি রান্ধি তারো উপর রাশি কইল ভাত. all the cooked rice was stacked on palasha leaves, which were on new clothes spread over the ground. They say, love is in the details. If you really love somebody, you will go into the, as much minute details as possible. Like this should be this way, this should be that way. You are so particular, like how you feed your child. How particular we are, like that this devotional service should be. Details, the better you can get it. Like if we hear Srila Prabhupada, he was so particular. It was not like, washy-washy, okay, do your service and be done with it. But every details, every minute details were taken care, because that means the love. And here we see first it was the cloth, and then there was the leaf, and there on top of that were the rice like a mountain. তারো পাশে রুটি রাশি পর্বত হইল, সুপ আদি ব্যঞ্জন ভাণ্ড চৌদিকে ধরিল. Around the stack of cooked rice were stack of chapatis, and all the vegetables and liquid vegetable preparations were placed in different pots and put around them. তারো পাশে দহি দুগ্ধ মাঠা শিখরিণী, পায়েস মিঠনি সরো পাশে ধরি আনি. Pots of yogurt, milk, buttermilk and shikharini, sweet rice, cream and solid cream were placed alongside the vegetable. If you know matha is buttermilk, shikharini, what is Prabhupada saying for shikharini? A sweet preparation. Might be shrikhand. So, and sweet rice, we know kheer, and what is the mathani, and rashe pashi. So different kind of sweet and yogurt and milk preparations were kept next to it. Purport. It is kind of ceremony which is called annakuta. In this kind of ceremony, which is called annakuta, cooked rice is stacked like a small mountain for prasadam distribution. Yesterday we had cake, but many a place you will see halwa, but also it is rice. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's a rice mainly that made the mountain, of which is replicated Govardhan. And it's called, what is it called? What is the festival called? Annakuta. In this way, হেনো মতে অন্নকূট করিল স্বজন, পুরী গোসাই গোপালের কইল সমর্পণ. In this way, the Annakuta ceremony was performed, and Sri Madhavendra Puri Goswami personally offered everything to Gopal. So everything was brought to him. As a wonderful Brahmana, he did not put little, boxes aside and say, this look really nice, this can go to my family and the rest can go to the deity. He gave everything. And as I don't know if we'll go closer, whole day he did not eat. Whole day he will not eat, and end of the day he will have little milk for him. This is another mood for us to learn. When we are serving the deity, when we are cooking, if we are thinking, oh, when will this bhoga be offered and become a prasadam, and when will I taste it? When will my son eat this beautiful cake, nice cake? And when will my husband eat this wonderful kheer that I made? Madhavendra Puri didn't. Actually, in some of the temples in India, the cooks don't get to eat the actual prasadam because of this reason. I mean, it is not allowed. It's like a rule that you cannot taste the prasadam that you have made. Because while cooking, you'll be thinking, oh, I like a little more chili than this. What Kalachandji wants is his problem. What I want is, I will cook the way I like. My family likes it spicy or mild. Devotees might like, and Kalachandji might like this way, that way, but I like it. So they restrict the, cooks from cooking, from tasting what they cook. But anyway, when even the pujari, not just the cook, even the pujari, when bringing the, bhoga item on, especially like a day like yesterday where like so many items were there. And if he's bringing in front of Kalachandji and saying, oh, when will he, once this offering is over, this bowl, this rasagulla is nice, this motichur is nice, this is mine, because pujari is the one who gets it. Then it defeats the entire purpose of the service. Of course, I asked once my Maharaj, I often offer what I like to eat. And he said, this is not a wonderful mood. Of course, he said, this is not a wonderful mood. But because we are here, and because Krishna is so merciful, he gave us Guru. That's why we offer it to Guru, and it goes to Parampara. and eventually goes to Radharani, where she removes all our anarthas, like the weed or the stones from the food, and gives it to Krishna, the pure, and says, see, such a nice devotee. And that's why we need parampara. If we go to Krishna directly, he will smell our stink and reject us immediately. That's why we need gurus, like a mother. The mother will say, child is really nice, even it's the most naughtiest child in the world, the most naughty child in the world, or the naughtiest child in the world. But the mother will project in such a way of the image of the child that looks nice in front of the dad, and that gives what the child wants. Similarly, our acharyas and of course Srimati Radharani makes us look beautiful in front of Kalachanji. So this mood I was saying, Madhavendra Puri did not eat anything, and it was not one day. It was days after day when villagers will come and say, can we have this day? Will book date with Madhavendra Puri. This day is our. This day, each village will come and say, this day is our, this day is our. And they will do their own Annakuta. And every day, because Madhavendra Puri was the head pujari, he had to arrange everything. He won't eat. And at night he will drink some milk. And still he said, okay, I'm too tired of doing it for months maybe. I'm not eating properly and I'm still doing this service. He didn't get fed up. He was happy doing it for Gopalji. You want to discuss something, or shall I read few verses more? Whatever you say. 8:30 is the breakfast. Gopal Prabhu is cooking his wonderful khichdi. So if the class goes beyond, please feel free to. Prabhu, do you have the pictures? Do you have the pictures, Prabhu? Did he show you? Oh, Krishna, okay. I don't know where he went. He will live 100 years, Prabhu. Yes, meanwhile we can. Yes. So that fortune I forgot to mention. Prabhupada wanted us all to learn things and share it with others, so irrespective of our gender. So this summer when we went to Govindakund, as it says in the first verse itself, says they got the water from Govindakund and they did the chhaniya. They strained it and then got it for the Thakurji, Gopalji. So that's a place we went where first dream of Gopal came, and where he did his bhajan also. So we will see that. Meanwhile, Prabhu gets it. I will just read few more verses. Chaitanya Charitamrita is nectar. You can't get enough of it. অনেক ঘট ভরি দিল সুভাষিত জল বহু দিনের ক্ষুদায় গোপাল খাইল সকল. See how personal our Krishna consciousness is. Many water pots were filled with scented water for drinking, and the Lord Gopal, who had been hungry for many days, ate everything offered to him. He ate everything that was offered to him because he was hungry. He didn't get enough food, bhoga, for so long, so he ate everything. Joddapi Gopal shabo anno ব্যঞ্জন খাইল তার হস্ত সম্পূর্ণে পুন তেমনি হইল. Although Sri Gopal ate everything offered, still by the touch of his transcendental hand, everything remained as before. Before we see pictures or something, oh, it has a big purport also. We will see how much we can get in. This student was not able to understand how can Krishna eat and it can still remain. So he went to his spiritual master, his guru, in the Gurukul, and he said, Gurudev, I don't understand this concept. How can it happen? How can he eat also and it can remain also? What is the thing? He said, okay, I will tell you tomorrow, but this particular verse, let's think of Bhagavad Gita. I don't remember which scripture for our understanding. He gave a particular verse of Bhagavad Gita and said, please memorize it tomorrow and come back. So next morning when the disciple came, so Gurudev asked, did you remember the verse? He said, yes. Can you recite the verse? He said, yes. So he recited the verse. He said, where is the verse? He said, it's here. He said, open the book. Is the verse still there in the book? He said, if the verse can be there in the book and in your mind, Krishna being a transcendental personality, why can he eat also and leave also? Like when they say, you can't have the cake and you can't, what is it said? You can't eat the cake and have the cake. But in Krishna consciousness, you can eat the cake and have the cake. So, do we have the picture, Prabhu? We can try to read, but the time purport is one. So this is the bhajan kutir. If you see on top, it says Madhavendra Puri's bhajan kutir, and inside that, this is where also when he dozed off, he got the first dream of Gopalji. It's so wonderful. When we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you go and visit this place, you feel, even if you're a neophyte devotee, talking for myself, it gives you that, oh, this is what I read. It's like reading history book and going to the history. It's like that. That's what Vrindavan is for us. All the Dham is for us. This is the place where Madhavendra Puri was dozed off and also did his bhajan later. And this is the place where Gopalji came and gave him the first dream of Madhavendra Puri. And there's the deity of Madhavendra Puri also. It was dark. We went to Govind Kund very late. Picture of Madhavendra Puri. And next to Madhavendra Puri, there's the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which has recently been installed by Jayapataka Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. That's what Maharaj is doing. Like, if you go to Mayapur, also many places you will see this feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being installed. And this was right next to Madhavendra Puri. So this is where he was doing his bhajan. And these places are not very crowded. That's the beauty of this place. You can go, you can chant, and take all the blessings of Madhavendra Puri and ask him so that, so he can help us to progress in the movement of Srila Prabhupada, the movement of Mahaprabhu, and give us the understanding of this Tattva Gyan, which is very needed. I personally feel it. Of course, Leelas are wonderful, but if we don't understand the Tattva behind it, the philosophy behind why we are doing what we are doing, then it will fade away eventually. If we don't understand the mood of our acharyas, of course, Gopi Bhav, this, everything is there. But if it does not have a foundation, like what they make with the cards, the castle card, it just, with the wind, it goes off. Similarly, our devotional service may get scattered if we don't understand the Tattva. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Siddhanto boliya chitte na koro alosh, yaha hoite Krishna lage shrudriro manos. Siddhanto boliya chitte. Just don't think it's a philosophy, it's a boring thing. Not for me. I am a Leela kind of a person. Like a pastime is more of, but everybody needs to understand the Leela, we need the philosophy. So Siddhanta boliya chitte. Just thinking it's a philosophy, don't shy away, don't be lazy to understand the Siddhanta. Yaha hoite Krishna lage. From there, from that philosophy only, Krishna will become what? Fixed in mind. You will become fixed in Krishna consciousness. Yaha hoite Krishna lage. Shu drira. Not just drira. Drira is determined. Su means which makes it even more, like the most. Like, you have the Mount Meru, and then it's also called Sumeru. It's Su makes it more. It magnifies the quality of the thing. So Shrudrira Manashi is saying, even more determined. What will make you even more determined in Krishna consciousness? The philosophy of Krishna consciousness. It has actually this verse, which is 77, has a beautiful, beautiful purport. All purport of Srila Prabhupada are beautiful. But please go ahead and read the purport, because we are almost time, and if there is any discussion, we would like to take that. And please go to visit this deity and the place where Madhavendra Puri got this dream to install Gopalji. And if you want to see the deity, go to Naddwara and Sri Srinathji and pray for all of the Dallas community. With that, I will pause, and please forgive me for all the mistakes that I would have committed. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhe vacha patita nam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki. If there is anything you would like to add, please go ahead. We should have mic, na? Or you can go for breakfast. Koi nahi hai na? We'll pause here, and thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience and tolerating me. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the Kirtan, Prabhu.
कीर्तन गान तन परौ प्रेमामृता वनिधि धीरा धीर जन प्रिय कृष्ण कीर्तन गान नर्तन प्रभु प्रेमामृतां वनिधि धीर धीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो पूजित चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुव भारा तारक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालक कृष्ण कीर्तन गान कृष्ण कीर्तन गान नर्तन परम प्रेम में कामनी वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो निर्मा पूजितम् श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुव मारव अंतरक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालक सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं करो विचारणैकनिपुना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर विचारणैकनिपुना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर श्री चैतन्य कृपा बरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर विचारणैकनिपुना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर राधा कृष्ण राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ भजनामृतौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ भजना नंदेन मत्तालिका वंदे रूप सनातनं रघुजुगौ श्रीजी कृष्ण कीर्तन गान नतल परौ वीर वीर जनप्रिय श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुवा रखौ वंदे रूप सनातनं रघुजुग वासुदेव राजलक्ष्मी धर्मिष्ठ आजवदस जददाद रन्ना मंडलस्यनी सदा तुच्छव भूत्वा दीनगणे सतो करुणया मंडलपति शनि